Hey everyone, Brian Michael finally reporting back in after a little hiatus, but I'm back up and running with tea again, and I hope y'all didn't miss us too much. Now, this week we had a little bit of time to link up and record, so we wanted to show you how to make this quick and easy recipe that in some way, shape, or form has appeared on every menu and every kitchen I've ever worked in. Now to do this, we need to jump into the most labor-intensive part of this entire recipe, which is peeling and dicing up our butternut squash. To get that started, I like to top and tail it, so get that little stem part off, and then the very bottom where it has the little root thing. And then you separate the balls from the shaft. Now we do that because it's going to make it easier to peel both halves of it, so you're not trying to broad stroke one and then try to work around the natural curve of the other. Now this whole process is actually relatively easy. I know I called it labor intensive earlier, but and I'm doing a bad job of selling it because we're using the world's worst peeler. Honestly, the world's worst peeler. Now, we don't have any sponsors or affiliations with any brands in particular, but in the bottom, in the description, I'm actually going to throw up a link to Amazon where you can get your hands on an actual peeler instead of a pile of garbage like this one. That's my little gift to you guys. But really all you want to do is try to take off just that top layer. You don't want to go too deep with it. You're just going to repeat over and over and over again. Now there is actually two different ways to go about doing this. I'm sure there's more, somebody will correct me, but the two ways that we like to do it is with the peeler, or if I'm in a pinch or I'm using an awful peeler, I'll jump in with the chef's knife and I'll trim it up that way. So what you'll end up with is on our left here, you'll see the peeler version of getting rid of all the skins, and then on the right you'll see the waste left behind from just carving it off with your knife. Now to move us along, we need to take the little bulb part of the butternut squash. We're just going to cut it in half so that we can reveal the seeds that'll be hiding inside of it. Now this gross little area of the butternut squash can be taken down pretty easily with just your run-of-the-mill household spoon. You're just gonna get in and scoop it out. It'll take no time at all. It's kind of gross the way it feels, I'm not gonna lie to you, but just get it out. We're not gonna eat that crap. And then just, try to be pretty thorough. If you see any of those weird long hair-like threads, just finish scraping them out before we place it down on the cutting board, and then cut it into more manageable pieces. The only real goal with breaking this thing down with the knife is to try and end up with relatively even pieces so that everything will cook at about the same speed. We're going to overcook the hell out of this butternut squash so that it'll puree easier, it'll just blend smoother. Regardless, we want them all to cook at about the same speed, so we're not waiting on the little bits to become actual mush and then the big bits to finally be just tender enough to pierce with a knife. So consistency, that's all we're looking for. Now, we're going to walk our cutting board over, and we're just going to bear paw those giant chunks of butternut squash into some roasted garlic and forced stock. You can use water, you can use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock, whatever you have. It's really not going to matter too much in the end. We just had this stuff kicking around, so we used it. And we're going to let it roll for 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, just until if you take a piece out, you should be able to pierce it with a knife legitimately with zero resistance. And then we're just going to move it off of the heat, and then we're just going to start dropping the strained chunks into the blender. So we're going to use a regular home blender here. This is not professional grade by any stretch of the imagination, but feel free to use an immersion blender. If you have one, you just stick it in the pot, turn it on, and it'll puree pretty nicely. It'll be pretty chunky, but we wanted it a little bit smoother, a little bit more uniform, which is why we opted in for the blender. So that being said, we're going to drop the butternut squash in, and then we're going to turn it on low and then medium and high. And for us, we'll add a little bit of the stock back in with it, and then we throw in a little bit of butter as well as a little bit of cream. We didn't use real cream in this recipe. We used oat milk / coconut milk creamer. It has less calories than regular cream, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't care. Use the full fat cream. It's delicious. Don't be like us. Enjoy your soup. And then just keep adding and blending until it's where you want it to be. Now to plate this one up, we just went in directly with the soup, and because our creamer had kind of like a hint of maple flavor to it, we decided to pair it with some candied pecans, as well as some non-fat Greek yogurt, And then we just kind of dove right into it. You mix and match your toppings, do whatever it is you want to do with your soup. That's what we did with ours. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you very soon. Much love. Peace.